So what's the earliest single that got you into dance music?
So the earliest single for me was I was very young. I was only about 12 or 13, and it was Grandmaster Flash.
Oh, was it that old
and the Wheels of Steel.
That
was about 81, 82, something like that. And bit of a showbiz story. I was a child model at the time. I was modelling for Kay's catalogue in the south of France, and Ben from Curiosity Who Killed the Cat, he was the slightly older model. He introduced that song to me, and he was acting out the song as we went along, which was just a bit weird. But it blew my mind. The song blew my mind. I had to get a showbiz story.
What about his dancing? Was he doing all the...
Well, no, he was kind of doing all this, like... You see, and he was kind of acting every bit of the song.
Right.
Was he doing the Curiosity dancing then?
No, and he didn't have the hat on either, like the beret, because he was only about 16 at the time. And so that was the song that got me into dance music initially.
What about you then? What was your first memory of it?
First ever dance music song that you fell for?
Yeah, what was your first one?
So while you were
I think, although...
What was mine, Steve?
Although I was into kind of electro and all that sort of stuff, the same sort of periods, I think the one that made me really get into wanting to make dance music was Moby Go.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean that's
such an unbelievable moment hearing that in the club.
That was a defining track from that era, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 91 was that? Yeah, 91.
I think.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it because there was probably there was that the reason I remixed No Other Love was because I heard it on a Renaissance comp, that Blue Amazon track. It was one of those very early Renaissance comps. And I went, I love this record. I know what it does something to me. And that's kind of
big digweed record.
It was a big digweed record, and that was kind of one of the ones where I went, oh, really? Because at the time I was doing all kinds of different stuff, like from different decades. And that kind of really got me wanting to do dance music actually. So I'd say
that's one of the first then.
Yeah, for me, in terms
what
of
year would that
in terms
be,
of getting me
roughly?
wanting to do that kind of stuff. That was
that early 90s?
It was a bit later than that. I mean, I heard a lot of, obviously, even going like a Chocolate Factory in Leeds, and when they started the whole dance revolution, and there were a lot of records I was hearing in terms of ones that got me wanting to make it. That was probably one, just because it had that. Because I had this whole kind of muso-y background, so you know, which extended it, and so I was getting nuances of more. Not classical music, but you know what I mean, like more.
Funny enough, we had the same thing because we came from a rock band originally, and then we did a rock dance crossover band. So we came from another angle as well. Can you remember the first club that you where you thought, Christ, this is great in terms of dance music?
I remember the Ministry back in the day when it really first opened, really early days actually, and it was such a hot, different world to what it is now, and like it was just mental. Yeah. Actually, and you go in and you have the old sign. I think it's still got that where it's real or deaf in you or whatever it is. And then everyone would get on the bar and start dancing at some point. You had some room full of PlayStations or whatever it is, with everyone just not able to stand up or function, trying to play Mortal Kombat or something.
It was mind-blowing.
It was kind of like Disney World on its arse, inverted.
That box was something
it was like Fear and Loathing in Elephant and Castle, wasn't it? So that in terms of getting the whole experience. Yeah. Well, in terms of actually, we had one of my best earliest experiences, and it wasn't that early because it was 2000, but it was with you when we all went to Ibiza. We went to Pin Up, and actually, that was when that was the first time.
That was the day club that when.
It was the first time we went. It was the first time we went.
I know the one.
You and I.
Yeah, that's right.
And with the Above and Beyond,
James came as well.
And James Grant, and James Grant was there as well. That's right, and Mike, and we all went there, and it didn't matter what your state of mind was. Everyone was just loved the music and the weather and all of it. Just, it was one of those times where it just came together really well.
Didn't last long, that club got closed down.
It's a shame, but it was great.
Do you remember it? It was like Tuesday afternoon.
I love a day club.
Afternoon.
I prefer a day club.
Oh, but you got everything, haven't you? You're on holiday, it's your first day, the weather's amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
You walk from the hotel to it down.
Yeah, it's
down Playa Bossa into
Great.
And then there's a downstairs club, and they used to shut you upstairs when you go downstairs. That was very good.
Yeah.
I was next on the list.
Record that you made.
Rave Records by Gem 77. That was 1992.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a lot earlier than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm a lot older than you. Well,
You are 20 years older than me, at
it's
least.
25.
25.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
92 was the first.
It's weird that you're now, because I'm only 30.
Yeah.
So,
you're 31.
What's your?
I get that a lot.
What was your first thing?
So my first record pressed was my first proper record press was on a label called Perfect World, which was run by a guy called Kevin Parkinson, who, to his credit, did see something in me, and so we ended up doing 2 tracks, one called Rush and one called Dream of Me, which ended up being a double A.
What was the artist name you used?
Orion.
Oh,
Was it?
Yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
so that was before Angelic. And Orion.
that
So
old?
it was
Orion,
called the Perfect
Orion.
World EP. It was called.
Yeah, okay.
I've got one downstairs. Should pull one up. And it was done at a studio in King's Cross. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name now. But anyway, it was all thrown. We were like finding this shit because at the time it was a time when it was just so new to it that you're even mixing. You know, you're questioning yourself. You use other people's studios, listen to other engineers. Eventually, you realise how to make it all work yourself.
And was that an instrumental track, or did you?
They
have
were
a vocal
both
on it?
instrumental. One of them had a little vocal shout on it.
Oh, a little sample.
Little sample, and you know what? It's still the music's still. I should think I'll have to dig it out again sometime.